Welcome back to the campus of Drury University here at the O'Reilly Family Center for this girls 18 and under 7A gold ball game between the HEA Firebirds out of the Ann Arbor, Michigan area and the Aggieland Panthers out of College Station, Texas. My name is Paul Gilmore, and I have the pleasure of being joined by Thomas Sanders and Jeremy Caldwell, bringing you the action of the final girls game of today. Coming next is going to be all the boys 18U Elite 8 action. But winner of this game secures the gold ball and continues the run to the national semifinal tomorrow. The HEA Firebirds are in their gray uniforms with the red and white camo side trim. Meanwhile, the Aggieland Panthers in the black uniforms with the white trim and white numbering.
I don't know if y'all noticed by looking at the rosters here, as we have another 8th grader starting in this game, number 20 for the Firebirds, Lila Valentine. And we've seen the 8th grader for Tyler Heat, how she played. Let's see how Miss Valentine's going to do here with the HEA Firebirds.
And it's going to be Lily Williams who wins the tip. That ball's immediately stolen away by Aggieland, and they have their first possession. Aggieland faithful letting us know they are right behind us. And they are loud. In the corner, Pearson McVeigh can't connect on the three.
So it looks like immediately Aggieland is going to try to send Pearson McVeigh to the corner and see if they can pull Lily Williams out of the paint.
And you also see immediately that Aggieland is face guarding Lily Williams full court, trying to slow her down before she gets down into the paint. Now they're double teaming her down low. There's going to be a lot of attention being placed on Lily Williams, which of course would make sense because of her status here.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see kind of how HEA plays this. It looks like they're going to want to slow this tempo down, which would make sense with your 6'5", 6'6" post. And then Aggieland's going to want to push her, make her run up the floor. Who can control tempo? This game's going to be something to watch.
And that first basket was good. That was Hannah Williams, the junior. She gets HEA on the board. And now HEA on defense.
I think that's Lily's little older sister. She's probably wondering where the height for her come from.
Chloe Kern, baseline runner, no good. Kern, a freshman for Aggieland. She was one of their all-region players. Meanwhile, Emma Lincoln gets it down low. Valentine. Lincoln for three. That's no good. Rebound controlled by Hannah Williams, and then Lily takes it up and she's fouled.
It's interesting. HEA is playing Lily Williams in the high post. Traditional thinking would put her on the low block. I'm kind of curious what the offensive strategy is going to be heading into this game. Watching this, I'm wondering if it's going to be some back cuts off her once you get in the ball in the high, but are they going to start sinking her to the low block? It'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
I believe they're going to use her in a variety of ways. One of the best things that she can do as well is when she catches that ball in the high post, she quickly turns and faces, and nobody's really going to be able to block her vision. So she has full vision of the whole half court, but they'll move her down on the block. They'll use her in a variety of ways. Meanwhile, Kern inside to McVeigh, working against Williams.
Aggieland's cannot be content swinging the ball around the perimeter like this. Difficult shot. You're going to have to get into the lane and then kick out. They're going to have to get this defense moving. With Lily Williams in the middle, there's just too much size to just dribble pass. They're going to have to get penetration into the paint.
Yeah, so
Lincoln gets it on the inside, but not before she shuffles her feet.
This is an interesting defense that Aggieland is playing here. They're not really playing a man, and they're not really playing a zone. They're just making sure they keep one defender in front and one behind of Lily, and everybody else is just going to match up wherever the ball is. And if the ball's in your area, then you just go to that player, and everybody kind of shift over a defender.
And now McVeigh, baseline jumper, no good. Rebound controlled by Lincoln, and she's going to be bumped. That foul is going to be called on Avery Evans.
As you'll see here, the strategy that HEA runs is they just walk the ball up the floor every possession. Basically, that gives Lily Williams the opportunity to rest a little bit offensively.
And that pass was floated into the high post and stolen away by McVeigh. She gets Aggieland on the board for the first time.
You know, sometimes when teams, like watch here, Aggieland is keying in on Lily Williams, even full court face guarding her. And if you're not careful, that can become such a distraction that you kind of lose sight of like the whole team concept here. So I think Aggieland and should be cautious on this. Like, it's one thing to key on one person and lose sight of what's going on around you as the offense develops.
Now McVeigh works against Williams, and that's going to be her first.
I believe Pearson McVeigh has a few offers on the table as well.
She does. Last count, I believe it was 17. I also don't imagine she has many matchups where she's got a lot of defenders taller than her. So it's going to be good to see her match up against Williams and get that experience against a D1 commit.
Yeah, that was a good move she did there with the pump fake and spin, just unable to get it to go.
And that pass errant from Valentine, but not before it was last touched by the Panthers.
And both 8th graders that we've seen here the game before and then this one have really good ball handling skills.
And Lincoln is going to be bumped by Lainey Swadley. That's her first, third team foul on the Panthers. And then Lincoln kicks it out in the corner. Up top, Valentine for three. No good. Rebound by Evans. Stolen by Valentine, and if that's a foul on McVeigh, that's a big one, as that's, I believe, her second.
I have her down as being her first.
Okay.
I think the first foul was on Ely Evans, number 14, early on.
Okay. So now Lincoln down low. HEA quickly moving the ball on the drive, spin buck out. Three-pointer on the way, and that is good. That is Gabby Dimoff.
The big three.
Three-pointer, reset, no good from Evans. You almost think she should have probably taken that first one.
Yeah, I don't know why she hesitated there on the first one.
Now Lincoln, free throw line extended jumper, nothing but net. And that's going to lead to a timeout from Coach Rollo. He wants to talk it over with his ladies. And that is a 30-second timeout, but in the first period so far, we have seen the Firebirds jump out to a 9-2 lead.
Yeah, they've done a really good job executing their offense and being patient enough to find the open shots. Haven't really forced too many shots. Aggieland, on the other hand, I think they forced a few too many over here in the corner, possibly trying to draw some early fouls on Lily Williams. They were able to get one on her, but you can't get out of your offensive game plan with a purpose to try to just draw fouls on a player. You got to stay within your game plan, and if the fouls come, that's extra, but you got to work your game plan and try to get the points that you've done all year to get you to this ball game.
Well, yeah, because HEA right now is up 9-2. Lily Williams, who has all the attention, just has 2 of those. So it's kind of case in point that, man, you have to play your game and not key in so much on one, obviously a superstar player, but you still got to play your game. And right now, HEA is the one that's getting in the paint and then kicking it out, which that we just saw the open three-pointer from Gabby Dimoff. But Aggieland's going to have to return some of this back to them, get some action moving against this 2-3 zone.
On the far side, good-looking three-pointer. That's going to be too strong and no good from Evans. HEA coming the other way. Aggieland continues to struggle to get anything going. They've got some good looks. Now they just need to connect.
We talked on tempo early. And right now, both teams seem content to kind of walk the ball up the floor. Watch your Aggieland. They're not pushing in transition and tempo, which would surprise me as a smaller team. You would think they would want to get out and run a little bit.
And there's Kern, the all-region player. She gets her first basket.
Really nice teardrop. I mean, beat her first defender, came up, Lily Williams stepped up, and then just dropped a little floater. That's a difficult shot for a guard.
And Thomas, you mentioned the pace for both of these teams. I had a chance to talk to Coach Williams of the Firebirds a couple of times this week, and she mentioned that she specifically wanted to, that's going to be the second foul on Lily Williams.
Yeah, I don't know if you're Coach Williams, I don't know if you want to give up that foul right there.
But going back to the pace of the game, Thomas, when I talked to Coach Williams, she said that they've dealt with a lot of injuries heading into this national tournament, and so for the sake of catching their breath and dealing with their injuries, they've chosen to take a really slow pace.
Well, yeah, I mean, part of it's the tournament. Let me pause there. Another beautiful jump shot.
So now 9-6. What I expected to come in, knowing of those situations for HEA, I expected Aggieland to come out trying to run and gun and make Lily Williams run up and down the court.
Well, yeah, it's two parts. I mean, one, you're in a tournament, so these players are not used to playing five games in 5 days. And they have the national championship in sight, right? So they're kind of looking, they're forecasting out. Part two of that is you have the most dominant player on the court who happens to be a post, and so why would you run her early? So if I was Coach Williams, I'd do the exact same thing. We control tempo because we have the ace card.
Right.
My thing for Aggieland is you're going to have to gain an advantage. I don't think it's in your half-court set. So I don't understand. I would encourage Aggieland to start pushing this tempo, making Lily Williams, making HEA run, and see if you can't find some breakdowns, some weaknesses, because it's going to be difficult in a half-court set.
And especially now that Lily Williams has 2 fouls, I'm definitely going to try to push the pace and push the tempo.
Yes.
Make her run the floor, and you possibly can get a cheap third foul on her.
That was an excellent job by Emma Lincoln. As she cut, she controlled the ball and had a wide open layup.
But, Paul made a point earlier, how many times has Aggieland been this much outside? They may not be used to controlling and pushing tempo, and you still got to play your game. So, this is an unusual matchup for anybody. But now it's kind of like, okay, who's going to make the adjustment to try to climb back in?
Right. And HEA played the same way last year, walking the ball up and down the floor, trying not to get in a fast tempo basketball game.
Somebody's got to take the shot, and it's stolen away by McVeigh, and that's how we end the first quarter. HEA 11, Aggieland 6. Second quarter action and a lot more to come after this. Second quarter action underway here in Drury University. Aggieland Panthers, they start with the ball down 5, looking to make some adjustments as Kern drives. Nice feed to McVeigh. That ball stripped away by Dimoff, and the ball goes back to the Firebirds.
So Aggieland's going to need more of that from Kern. I know that didn't finish how she wanted, but she beat her first defender, forced the help, and then found a read. You're going to want to see more of that if you're Aggieland. Nice drive, nice read, but more importantly, that's what's going to need to happen to break down this defense with Lily Williams sitting in the middle.
HEA came out of that break with a little bit more faster pace offense, and ended up in a turnover, but they wasn't just willing to settle and walk the ball up the floor.
And that's an and one as Pearson McVeigh knocks down the jumper. And that foul was called on DeMoff, I believe. But we've seen, Jeremy, you know, we've watched Aggieland at both the regional and district tournament.
Yeah.
And they actually hosted the district tournament. Well, I guess technically not hosted, but it was in College Station. So they had a big fan base there. And we've watched Pearson McVeigh, and she's not afraid to take that quick jumper.
No. And, you know, if you show you can hit that, that's going to have to pull Lily Williams out, or somebody's going to have to come out and guard her. And anybody outside of Lily is probably going to be a mismatch for Pearson out there.
And now Lincoln driving to her left, kicking to Valentine for three. Yes!
Jeremy, there's that 8th grade connection there, burying a three. I mean, think about that. She may play 4 more years beyond this at this level.
Right. Yeah, that's
what an experience. I mean, imagine, you know, when you start playing up with competition, if she was to go play 14U, it'd probably just feel like a different world.
And that ball stolen away by Williams. Up ahead to Valentine with the defense chasing and one. That's going to be a foul on Evans, her second, but
I want to pause for a second. This is going to go unnoticed. We don't catch this. The best thing I have seen Lily Williams do today just happened. Steal, okay. Eyes went up and threw a beautiful lead pass. You don't see bigs do that in today's game very often. The last one who did it, like you remember Kevin Love with Cleveland and Miami, Cleveland, and it's kind of those lead passes out to guards is critical. So heads up play by Lily Williams. It wasn't a bucket, it was a quick steal, but what a lead pass that led to an and one basket. Big time play.
And this time McVeigh gets it up over Williams. She now has 6 points in the game.
The pace has definitely picked up here by both teams. A little bit more up-tempo, and interesting to see how this goes.
Well, yeah, you can still, HEA wants to slow this thing down. We've talked about that.
Now Kern steals the pass. Coming the other way, up ahead, Evans on Valentine, no good.
A little too hard off the glass. Good look by Chloe, looking at for her teammates up ahead, but just unable to convert. It's too hard off the glass. Only a 6-point game, 5:40 to go. Another deflection here.
Aggieland much more active in the passing lanes. Now they work it into Williams, out to Valentine, another one.
You know, when you're evaluating players, I think one of the most underrated aspects of that players get missed on is passing.
Yep.
It's hard to quantify a good pass, but like what we're seeing right now, we saw a lead pass from Lily Williams, then coming back, Chloe hit a nice pass to a lead runner, and then right there again, Lily Williams out to a shooter. So I asked the question earlier, why is she in the high post? Not having seen her play as frequently, I'm starting to kind of get a picture that, hey, this girl's more than just a low post player. She's a face-up passer, and so her skill sets, I mean, at that height, she's such a nice target at the high post, and she's seeing her teammates. So, man, what an asset to have, both at this level and then next level.
And now the threes are raining in. That's the third in a row for HEA. They've now opened up a 22-10 lead over Aggieland. Three-pointer, no good. Panthers can't respond.
Definitely a different ball game here in the second quarter from HEA.
Lily down low, no good, gets her own rebound, steps through the other side, no good. How about a third try?
Yeah, that's hard to guard. Not a lot you can do with that.
Can't teach height.
You cannot teach height.
She needed a couple rebounds to help get to that double-double a little
Listen,
earlier.
I'm not going to knock that, pad those stats a little bit.
I mean, hey, that NIL money is worth a lot of money.
Hey.
And that time Lily read the pass, steals it, and I believe that foul was called on Evans. If so, that could be her third.
Yes, that was on Evans.
So I don't get the privilege of calling these homeschool games as frequently as some and seeing them, but I watched Lily Williams play last year at this tournament, and obviously you see the height and the finishes, but what I'm seeing now on the defense and the passing, wow, substantially improved. And it's what she's doing. She's making her teammates around her better.
Valentine, can she get another one? No. Offensive rebound, Williams. Lincoln cuts through, and she flips it in.
HEA is kind of showing why they're the Midwest champion here in this second quarter. They's up the lead to 16.
Nice runner by Kern. Wow. On that drive, Kern spun past both Lincoln and flipped it up over Williams, the two all-region players from the Midwest.
Now they've moved Lila Valentine to point. Shows the little float game.
What a
nice little
move.
shot.
Nice move. Nice. She's an impressive 8th grade player. I don't think you'd want to match up with her in 14U.
No, so we're gonna hear a lot of Lolly Valentine and a lot of Lexi Fuller over the next few years. These two 8th graders coming up in women's basketball.
You know, but we say that number 12, Chloe Kern's just 1 year up on them, and gosh, she's a great player in her own right as well. I mean, she's breaking down the defense. She's really doing a great job getting in the lane for Aggieland.
This three-pointer is too strong. Rebound controlled by Williams. Gets it to Lincoln. That jumper, no good. And I've had the privilege to call this tournament for many years now, and I want to be honest, I don't remember so many 8th graders playing on the varsity level on Gold Ball Wednesday.
I don't either. I mean, we've seen some of those 8th graders get in some of these games late, you know, when the score doesn't matter at that point, but here back-to-back games, 8th grade starters in the Gold Ball game, not just being a 5th person on the floor that you can hide in the corner, they're making an impact, and they're playing point for Tyler Heat, and at some points playing point here, but she has 8 quick points in this game, and that's a difference maker when you can have players like that step up in a Gold Ball game and make a big difference.
And what do you think? I was talking with the coach during this last game. I was talking with the coach about this. You see sometimes 8th grade on the girls' side play varsity. To my recollection, I don't see it on the guys' side as much. Have y'all come across that in your experience this tournament?
There was an 8th grader earlier playing in an 18U game, a point guard for CHSA White. They played earlier and won a game. But other than that, and he's going to be a really good player as well. He's a really good shooter. But other than that, I haven't seen many 8th graders playing at the varsity level.
That's a big step. You know, you get 14-year-old to 18-year-olds, a lot changes in that time.
Nice drive by Hannah Williams. Yeah, last year there was a player playing for Indy Wildcats, a 8th grader on the varsity level, but he ended up moving on to a top prep school. So
okay.
Good offensive rebound, that time no good. McVeigh ends up with the ball, back into the hands of Kern. Good look underneath. Wow, I'm not even sure how McVeigh saw Evans. Good pass results in another basket.
McVeigh is putting herself a nice game. I mean, plays on the inside, passes. Impressed with her game thus far. They've dug themselves a hole here, but they've not quit. Like they're fighting, they're competing, which is what you want to see.
And then Valentine out here, not just playing the point, but she's directing the players. She's directing the traffic offensively, telling other players where they need to be on the court to run the correct offensive set. Like, that's a very smart basketball player, and trying to lift up her other point guard as Lincoln there.
Yep.
That's somebody that's well mature above her age. Great basketball IQ.
Nice stop and pop from Evans. She's got 8 points now to lead the Panthers.
Got it back down to 10. And HEA is probably going to hold for the last shot. But when you got two smart basketball players that are also good ball handlers between Emma Lincoln and Valentine, you can afford to do that.
Just want to give you a quick reminder. We're going to do something a little unusual during halftime. Thomas and I are going to have a conversation about a player that is Lily Williams' caliber, so make sure you stick around for that as that shot from Lincoln goes up. End of the first half, and that's going to be it for the first half of play. After 16 minutes of this girls 18 and under 7A Gold Ball game, the HEA Firebirds lead 30-18, and make sure you stick around. We'll have the rest of that game as the boys take the court. But Thomas, just wanted to ask you a question. You know, we were talking about this during one of the intermissions. You've got a player like Lily Williams playing for HEA, and, you know, she's already committed to Michigan State, and she is a sophomore. And so that's a player that's at the highest level to be that young, to get an offer like that. And, not to make it apples to apples necessarily, but when you were a sophomore, you were one of the top homeschool players in the tournament. And so when you're looking at Lily and all the things that she's facing, all the things that she's going through, what advice would you give? What kind of things does that remind you of?
Well, I'd start with, for the players who are aspiring to reach that Division I level, low major, mid-major, high major, wherever that's being recruited at, it's that try to look beyond your current circumstances. So one thing my coach, who was my dad, started doing is he started taking us to, like, hey, where do you want to play? And start saying, go to those games. So we started going in our town when I was in Houston. We would start going and watch Houston Baptist. Then we started watching Rice and U of H. And so you started watching players at a higher level, seeing the level, seeing the speed, starting to feel what it felt like. So that way my eyes weren't always just on my program itself, but I was starting to see, hey, I dreamed to go here, so I need to start watching this and then pretty soon after he started talking to the coaches. Can I get in the gym and play with these guys? So as a 15-year-old, I was playing in Division I open gyms. Now, I was getting beat like a drum at those games, but when you come out to a high school game, it's like, well, I've already played against a higher level of competition. So it kind of helped start preparing my mind and my body for that level. And then as for my psyche as a sophomore, junior, senior in this circuit, man, I was always I'm a believer, right? And so Scripture talks about God gives grace to the humble but resists the proud. And so it's one of those things that he and I would challenge myself that I'm not here to just make myself look good. I actually want to try to make my teammates around me better. So what does that look like? How do I go grab my teammates who maybe aren't that same level and bring them to make our team rise together? And so it was a challenge I took both spiritually and as an athlete. And I think that helped, I guess, stay grounded in those moments, that remembering that basketball, A, is a team game, and then God promises to resist those who are proud and gives grace to the humble. And so I really took that and adopted that as I tried to move through my career.
And I had a chance to have a conversation with Lily last summer, or shortly after last summer, and we sat down and we had about a 20-minute conversation, and she was very gracious, very humble, just a wonderful young lady. And, she's at the point now where, she's already committed D1,
yep.
So her future is secure, but she's still got 2 more years of high school basketball. So when you're at that level of superstardom, right, at the homeschool level, we talked about, players like Justin Jackson, who came out of our HEA program, Mariah Jefferson, who ended up winning 4 straight championships for UConn on the women's side. She's reaching that level of superstardom. So with 2 years left, what kinds of things is she facing?
Well, she's going to be facing a lot of pressure because every person that comes out, she's got a target on her back. And so, even right here, you're seeing she's getting face guarded 94 feet. And so imagine the frustration that you're dealing with on a night-in, night-out basis. And teams that don't know her, they're going to come out and be like, hey, who's the 6'5" girl? Automatic, all the attention. And so anytime she misses a free throw or does something, it's like she's in the spotlight all the time. And so I think it takes a special level of maturity to be that good that early. From what I can tell, she's handling it well. And I just think that the same things that are going to ground the player in preparation are going to keep you grounded. So if you can understand that, hey, I'm here working, serving with my teammates, battling together, that kind of mindset can help push through when the spotlight is there, when it feels to have pressure on you as a player. And just kind of saying, you know what, I just give this up. I want to make my teammates around me better because I know I can bring this team with me.
And not only that, but you talk about pressure, there's almost that expectation of, well, you're the best player, you should be playing for the national championship every
time.
year.
And that's not fair, right? But that's the thing, and particularly as a post, sometimes it's hard because I was a point guard, so it's different, but as a post, she's so reliant on the guards getting her the ball. It's even a bigger, I guess, obligation. Man, what I can tell of her watching her play, her unselfishness, her passing, like it seems like she's doing that really, really beautifully.
Well, thank you for your insight. We're going to get the second half started here in just a minute. And felt like that was good wisdom for not only someone who, like you said, is trying to reach to the next level, but also for Lily and her family when they go back and watch this tape. Just to hear that from you.
Just the perspective. I saw her last year playing, and we saw the points. We saw all the stuff on the block. What I'm seeing this year, which seems like a new facet, maybe I just didn't see it much last year. I watched her play 2 games. And the ability she's passing, she's doing case in point what I just laid out. She's making those people around her better players. And in that, guess what? Your team is better too. And so, what an experience, what an opportunity. Yes, it is a challenge that she's got 2 more years or 3 more years at this level. And that's where I say, that's where getting around players who she's going to be playing against. She's going to be playing in the Big Ten, from what I understand. getting around players there is going to be valuable. But in that, enjoy the moment that she has right here, right now, and competing with these teammates. It's a special opportunity.
Meanwhile, her older sister, Hannah, knocks in the first points of the second half for HEA. That extends their lead 32-18. Nice feed from Kern to McVeigh.
Kern again with another pocket pass to McVeigh. This is quite a combo. I like Kern's game. She's a freshman, sees the floor well, strong lead guard. I think Aggieland's got a bright future with her on the ball.
That was a good left-hand finish by McVeigh, too, with the stretched out to avoid Lily Williams.
Demoff on the baseline runner. That's good. And Thomas, you kind of mentioned this as well. I think one thing that Lily is doing really well is on offense. You know, of course, you would imagine, oh, get the ball to her in the post every time, give her a chance. She's done such a great job of feeding her teammates. She's not even looking to score, and they're up by 14 points right now.
Well, it's funny because, like we talked on the pressure of an elite player, hey, how come she has, what, two or 4 points right now? She's dominating the game in ways that a lot of players can't see. She's drawing so much attention in that high post, so everyone's sagging off, and so you're getting runners, you're getting open three-point shots. So much attention is on her. So we talked about this idea of pressure. Well, it's continuing here. Does she put pressure on herself that, hey, I'm not scoring 15 points a game and I'm going to Big Ten. These players are not. No, no, no. Your team is winning, and you're actually pulling attention away from that defense, giving your teammates shots. She's acting out right now, we were just talking about. And when a player gets to that point, they say about Michael Jordan, right? He made the players around him better. And when you see players doing that, you start watching, there's reasons that's happening. I think that's at a base level, we're starting to see some of that elements with her right now.
And the college coaches are smart enough to recognize when they watch the film exactly what's happening.
For sure. It's not hard to diagnose. And so there's so much attention on one player, and then what happens is all this spill out over that. So pretty cool stuff. I'm seeing a lot of development from this time last year to what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, and even though she's committed to Michigan State, I'm pretty sure she still has other colleges reaching out to her since she's only 15 and probably hasn't signed the ink on the paper yet.
And look, we've talked a lot about Lily this game. There's other players out here. There's 3 or 4 others that I think will have the opportunity to play college ball, maybe more than that. Particularly some of these ones you're looking at who are underclassmen, and you know they're competing. We're talking a lot on HEA, but you look up and it's still a 14-point game. And the level is, the parity's improved, the level's gone up, and it's just good basketball.
And not only that, but you look at the conversations that CJ Pomeroy, who's been helping a lot with the NCHBC, he's the recruiting director, and so he's had a lot of conversations with coaches. And one thing that he's always noticing and hearing feedback from is that colleges are looking for female athletes. So there's a lot of opportunities out there for young ladies that want to play at the next level.
There's some, with some recent legislation stuff, a lot of the women's sports now are fully funded, meaning so women's basketball will have 15 NCAA scholarships. Volleyball is fully funded, so you're right. There's opportunities for these young women to get college scholarships to play. Obviously we're at a basketball tournament now, but I'm sure a lot of these girls play other sports as well.
And that's Lincoln. She steals the ball away from Evans, and she puts it in.
Yeah, just here in this tournament, I believe there's a few girls here that's probably going to play at the next level. May not be Division I, but Division I, Division II, III, NAIA, yep. One of them. There's, I believe, plenty that's going to be able to play at that next level.
There certainly is opportunity.
Well, y'all had mentioned Pearson McVeigh earlier on this broadcast. I think she was receiving some college interest, which is not surprising, watching her game.
Dimmoff for 3, no good. Offensive rebound, Williams. Too strong on the lay-in. I think she was surprised by how much she missed that one by.
Well, it's probably not very often she's going to get that wide open on a layup.
Meanwhile, Kern took it baseline. She got bumped. That foul on Hannah Williams. And Thomas, not to put too much emphasis on crowd noise, but even on that last layup attempt, right behind us, we could hear Aggieland chanting overrated. So you talked about pressure that she's going to face.
Yeah, and that kind of stuff happens. And it's like, that's just people, and I hate to say it, that's only going to get worse as the higher up she goes. And Yeah, there's just things you're going to have to tune out and block out because people are expecting perfection. So, you know, she misses a layup. Well, that happens to anybody. And what I would say is that obviously that's fans of the opposing team, but in this case, like, she's dominating the game in ways that maybe the average basketball fan would not understand or see right now. And a college coach can understand what's happening here, but that doesn't mean you're making every shot, you're making every free throw. There's aspects that affect the game in other ways. Now
Kern's got a one-on-one with Williams, who swats it out of bounds. Is she overrated? I don't know.
So there's one person in this gym right now who's going to make that play, and she's the one that happened to be in that spot. So there's things like that, the intangibles that are hard to teach.
Yeah, and that's just part of the mental growth that she's going to have to go through as a player of her caliber. You know, when everybody starts hearing the D1 offers, you know, you gotta be mentally tough as well, because you're going to get the negative comments just as well as you get the positive. Probably more negative than positive in today's world.
And sometimes it's intangible. There's a teammate of mine in Spain I played with, and you know, he wasn't a great offensive player, but he could block shots, and now you'll find him on the roster for the Phoenix Suns. And it was like he could do several things very, very well, and so it'd be easy to say overrated, but he was a master at some things. As you get higher up, sometimes the game becomes more of a specialist game like that. And so an elite shot blocker, an elite playmaker, an elite defender can find a niche on a high-level roster in their specialty.
Yeah, you look at someone like Rudy Gobert. You know, you wouldn't expect him to be someone that is one of the top players on a top team in the NBA, and yet he's making a big impact.
That's right.
Good
There's the passing
from
Lily Williams we talked about.
Get some more opportunities before she puts it in. Even the speed in which she passed that ball. I mean, it right in the shooter's pocket. Those are the little intangibles you were talking about.
Intangibles. It kicked it out. Was not looking for her shot. Kicked it out. Oh, great look from three, and then ended up getting the bucket back for herself. So keeps the ball high on the rebound. She has developed a lot in the past 12 months.
And she's looking to her mom and coach and says, I need a breather. So mom said, well, I'll just give you a timeout. But already in this quarter for HEA, they've already had 5 different players score a bucket, and that has helped them to a 19-point lead here. But when you have that many people, knowing that you have a Michigan State signee, #1 player probably in her state, and knowing she's going to be the main focus of the offense, and when you have 5 different players that can score, well, that makes it tough to defend, because you can't just send all your players to guard one person.
Yeah, they're a complete team right now, and it helps having shooters on the outside, because, again, she's pulling so much attention. You kick out and shot.
Right. Now, the winner of this game, I don't know if we've mentioned that yet on the broadcast, but the winner of this game is going to play the Chisholm Crimson Knights, who won earlier today. And that's going to be in the Gold Ball Showdown Series semifinal, with the opportunity to go to the undisputed game. HEA was there last year against San Marcos, and if they looking to win this to try to have another opportunity to get there, and San Marcos punched their ticket into the Final Four the game before this, and they were going to have to play, I believe, West Michigan Hornets. So that's going to be a tough, 2 tough games tomorrow, whoever comes out of this game, to go against the Chisholm Knights, because they showed earlier today that they are a powerhouse. And I can promise you, if it's going to be HEA and Chisholm tomorrow, Chisholm is not going to be content walking the ball up and down the court.
That shot from McVeigh over the outstretched arm of Williams. No good.
You gotta love Lila Valentine in there getting the rebound. 5 feet tall, 8th grade.
But just watching her out there off the ball, like she knows basketball.
Oh, correct. Yeah.
You've seen her how she passed the ball to the corner, and then she cut and went baseline away from the ball. And when I coach, I had a tough time teaching my varsity boys to do that. You know, because nobody wants to cut and move without the ball in today's world, because you know, they want to shoot like Steph Curry, but they don't want to put in the work that Steph Curry does to get open.
And that time Williams comes over the top and erases another Panther shot.
You know, Jeremy, you're right. So I coach, my boys are young, but I'm starting to work with them. They're 8 and 10 years old, and I'm telling them on defense we teach pressure, and on offense we teach spacing. So if I can get the defense to play with pressure and the offense to play with space, it opens up, and that's what we're seeing from Lila. Although she's the smallest player on the court, she's understanding, hey, I've got a pressure on D, and she's really understanding offensive spacing.
Right.
And knowing her positions, her places. And so it's pretty unique when your player at that age learns that.
Yeah.
It's really effective, because then she's going to start being able to find her shots and where she can score.
The Aggieland faithful over here to our left, trying to help propel their girls get back in this game.
So even though they didn't connect on that shot, HEA is making the right plays on offense, and Kern's going to pull from NBA 3.
She's a confident player. A little frustrated right now, you can tell, naturally. Not where they want to be in this game at this moment, but she has a bright future. And I think this whole program, Aggieland, has a bright future. This is a good-looking team.
Williams for 3, no good. Valentine gets in there amongst the trees and pulls down the rebound.
That's what we're talking about. She is a confident player.
I don't know if you're Aggieland how you allow that to happen. There were 4 Aggieland players around the ball, and she just went higher than everybody else and wanted the ball more than the others, and she came down with it.
You know, Paul and Jimmy, I think for one thing that is, when we start talking about like homeschool teams going in and playing public school and private schools, I remember when I was a freshman, a freshman in high school, we started playing the best schools in the Houston area, which is where I was from. We started playing 5A public schools. Right. And that first year, there was I don't want to call it quite a fear factor, but there was an element of kind of timidity of like, hey, can we actually play here? And as you start, the first year we took our stripes, and then we started to do a little better. And by junior, we were beating these teams. And I think sometimes, if any coach is listening, if I could give one piece of advice, these programs that want to scale up, you need to be scheduling the best teams in your area. You know, it was not that a goal was to lose games, but you should be coming in where you're expecting to have maybe lost 10, 12 games because the competition you're playing is elite. So when you come to the national tournament, you're not seeing good teams for the first time. You've already – and I think sometimes the tendency can be with coaches, you want to win your games, and I get that, but you don't improve if you don't play the best. And obviously that varies region by region who that is. Right. But for us at HEA, I look back 15 years ago, and we started playing the elite teams. And so by the time we got to the national tournament, we got those final games, this was kind of like another day in the office. And I think that can be a mistake for teams that underschedule. And I just would encourage coaches to evaluate that as they head into the season. What tournaments can we get into if they won't schedule in the regular season? Where can we go get beat up on a little bit? Because your end goal is right here. This is a national tournament. This is where you want to perform. Right. And that's what I would say is play these teams. Get it used to seeing the competition, what it feels like. And so when you play a really top-level team like this team we're seeing now, the Firebirds, like this doesn't feel foreign. You've already played these good teams. Right.
The problem with that scenario, though, is most coaches don't like losing. So
you kind of have to go through it to get to where you want to get, right?
And you gotta learn how to lose before you learn how to win.
That's it.
Well, the benefit of being a coach at this level is your job's not on the line. Most of these coaches are volunteer parents. Right. So you want to put your kids in a position to succeed as best they can, and had a conversation with Coach Williams, who's the coach of the MHE boys that are about to play, and he said same thing that you were saying. They played the top prep schools in Tennessee, took some licks, maybe coming to this tournament with a 500 record. Other teams in this homeschool tournament coming in with 30 wins. That's right. But they've took their licks the entire year against the best of what their region has to offer, and they come here and they're more prepared. And that's my senior year. We won this tournament. It wasn't, and the thing was, we came in having lost 14 games that season. Well, how does that happen? Well, it's because we had played pretty much an only 5 and 6A public school schedule, and a lot of those came through tournaments. But the 2 prior years, we had basically been in these same tournaments. Some we'd win, some we'd lose, but we had been playing the best competition in the state of Texas. And so, there is discretion in how you schedule. I'm not saying you take a team of 8th graders into playing a 6A public school overnight, but you start building towards that. Maybe it's a 3-year trajectory, a 4-year trajectory, but looking long term, where do I want my program to get? And it starts by playing the best.
Yeah, whenever I was coaching, we did that. We went and played, the schools that we could play. In Louisiana, you can't play public schools, so they wouldn't allow us to. Now, in the preseason, they're allowed like 2 scrimmage games outside of public or whatever. So one year we played a public school out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Went over there to play them at their place, and, I always had the philosophy that I would play anybody, anywhere. It didn't matter.
Yep.
We're going to lose. We're not going to win every game. So the only way you get better by playing teams better than you so you can learn from it. And we went over there, played a team in Baton Rouge. Well, we ended up beating them at their home court. They were not happy about it. And we had it scheduled for the next year, and the coach canceled, and he's like, we're not going to be able to play that game. I also had a game scheduled with Beaumont United. They had a tournament. They invited us to it, and we had played a few games that year and got a few wins under our belt. And then the week before the tournament, Coach sends me an email and says, hey, Coach, we're not going to be able to let you in the tournament. It's too much paperwork involved, and it's not going to be able to do it this year, but appreciate you the interest or whatever. And I'm not saying we would have won that tournament because I think Beaumont United was pretty good that year, but it's the ability to try to go play those tournaments, and we were willing to do it. And we've never came and won nationals in the 18U division, but we've competed well. And, we got better every year basically from playing teams better than us.
That's it. Yep.
And not afraid to lose. Now, we got beaten many a games, and but you can't be afraid to lose if you're going to be a head coach in basketball and try to get better.
Yep.
And if you check, like Memphis Eagles, they're playing next. One of their things on their schedule is they try to play all the top teams in the Memphis area and the state of Tennessee if they have to, because they try to get better. They try to contend themselves and give themselves some obstacles to overcome. And the only way to do that is to play teams better than you. When you get here, you've been there before, like you said. You played in that game already.
It's true on a team level. It's true on a personal level. Paul and I talked at halftime about, Lily Williams and for a little bit tied to some things that myself and my brothers did. And we were in gyms and open gyms at 15, 16 years old playing colleges. And so sometimes I get a guy call me, hey, I want to play Division I. I'm not getting recruited. What do I do? Beautiful shot. Golly, we said enough about Lila Valentine again. What a game. But finding opportunities. Okay, I'll ask the player, well, who are you playing against? Is it all your high school teams? Well, have you called the coach of the local university? Have you called the junior college coach? Can you ask if you can come to the open gym? And giving yourself an opportunity to get with older, bigger, better, stronger players. Have you joined the men's league? And things like that open your eyes a little bit to the next level. And I think that's one of the quickest teachers of how you develop.
That ball is stolen away. Coming back the other way is Swadley, and she's fouled before she gets a shot up.
Look, it's good to know that Lila Valentine can make a mistake because I think I didn't know that. We had not seen one until that pass. She's had such an impeccable game. Misread there, but, man, what a player she is.
Yeah, and then, she see the frustration on her face when she does make a mistake. And they're going to give them a take foul here. They're going to say it was an intentional foul, so shooting free throws. Chloe Kern.
So here's a question for you, Paul. If that score was 38-38, would that call have been made?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I'm going to be honest with you. And again, we talk all the time about on these broadcasts, you kind of control the narrative a little bit about the officiating, all that kind of stuff. But I agree with you. I think the fact that, that was a situation where, 20.
It was situational.
Almost 20-point game.
And I say that the officiating crews have been fantastic here. And even gave us some halftime entertainment as the ref. I don't know if y'all saw it on the broadcast. The ref banged down 3 NBA threes in a row. So shout out to our officiating crew. They not only can call the game, they can clearly play it as well.
Yeah, they've done a great job all week long. And, of course, for these big games, we get the best. So most of these officials referee at the collegiate level.
Yeah, and just like coaches.
Look at that move. Wow.
Hannah Williams.
What a split.
Just like coaches, coaches have, you coach situational basketball. So referees have situational basketball as well. Different situations, they're going to call different
certainly.
different things. So
not the same calls. It's discretionary in this situation.
Right.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. You got to read the game just like the player does.
Right. A lot of coaches, they get mad at refs at certain calls and stuff, but they also got to understand situational basketball goes with players, coaches, and refs, and it all plays into it. But for the most part, like Paul said, we've had really good refereeing this whole tournament. Haven't really had too many complaints, if any, about referees here from what we've had in Drury. There's that corner 3 inbound play that about every team here at this tournament runs.
So you may have heard the crowd behind you. What they're responding, Lila Valentine drove, what a pocket pass, pulled her defender and dropped really on a seamless pass to the post for a finish. Really, really impressed with her game right now.
I mean, the basketball IQ that she has shown during this game this is a goal ball game. This is not a first game of pool play. This is a goal ball on the line, and I don't think she's been subbed out yet and has played major minutes, made major contributions offensively, defensively, jumping up, grabbing rebounds in the middle of the paint. So, I mean, kudos to her.
That three-pointer is dropped by Martis.
Look, this game, this one's getting out of hand here, but Aggieland, for any who are listening, Aggieland faithful who are listening, I just want to encourage the future's bright. You have a strong young team. I know this game's a little bit more than what probably expected to happen here, but they've competed hard. They've not quit. They've not played scared. They've not backed up. Just played a really good team on a tough night. So, hats off to the way Aggieland's performed and competed tonight.
And once again, Lila Valentine with the backdoor cut, seeing that the ball was at the top of the key. And, deflection there by Aggieland, kick it out of bounds.
Nice inbounds, and that's going to be Lincoln. She's now up to 15 in the game.
Once again, HEA Firebirds with 5 different players scoring in the fourth quarter as they did in the third.
No good on that shot from McVeigh. And then we're going to have a foul going the other way as Evans is whistled for her 4th.
I'm looking at Aggieland's roster. They're playing 6 freshmen and only 1 senior. So the fact that they're here right now, even in this game, look ahead next year, 2 years, and in their case, good gracious, 3 years from now, what is this team going to, if they hold this thing together, what is this going to look like? I mean, what a time for development.
Right.
So future's bright with Aggieland.
I mean, they have an opportunity to go for, 1, 2, maybe 3 national championships. I mean, you're here playing in the Elite 8 right now.
And that was Ava Lee that checked in for HEA.
In the summer, I get the opportunity to work with a lot of these athletes from College Station with the Aggieland program. And, man, the character of the kids, the character of the program, and even the way they carry themselves on and off the court is compelling. I love their heartbeat of the program, and even watch them compete now. I'm expecting big things in the near future.
Yeah, and Chloe Kern has not had her best game, and she has only 8 points here in this game. Kind of close to a double dribble there. HEA plays really good team basketball. They move the ball well. They move without the ball. They pass and cut. It's a beauty to watch when you can see good team basketball like this.
Really nice move. That's Emma Lincoln just dicing that. It kind of put the defense to sleep with those dribble handoffs on the perimeter, found an opening, and nice little teardrop.
And all of that passing and cutting led to that layup. Meanwhile, McVeigh coming the other way. She now has 12.
They're going to miss her for sure.
And HEA is going to take a timeout, I think primarily to get a substitution, as there's 2.5 minutes to play. Want to remind you, coming up next, we switch over to the boys 18 and under gold ball games. Coming up next is the 3-time defending champion MHEA Eagles versus the Houston Raiders.
Yeah, that'll be a good matchup. Big South versus Big South. MHEA won the Big South. The Houston Raiders have shooters, and we had 2 of their games yesterday. The first game yesterday morning, I made the mistake of saying that 4 of their 5 starters are all 3-point shooters and deadly. outside of the big man, Cole Baker. Well, in the fourth quarter, he decided to step out and hit 2 threes from the top of the key. And in the game last night that they played to get to this game, they had both bigs step out and hit multiple threes in that game, along with their other 4 shooters. So my apologies to Houston Raiders on that. So all 6 of their guys that step on the floor, every one of them can step out and shoot the 3, even both bigs. So it's going to be an interesting feat how they match up with HEA, because they can spread the floor and spread you out, and every one of them can shoot outside. So
that game will be coming up next. Meanwhile, we've got final 2 minutes plus change in this game. HEA looking to run some time off the clock as Valentine with the good feed, but that's read by Kern. She pushes the ball the other way. Good downhill feed to McVeigh.
What a play by Kern. Draw the defender. Little pocket pass there for a finish. The passing in this game has been really, really good in traffic.
McVeigh now up to 14 points, which is impressive considering she had to match up against Lily Williams for most of the game.
Yeah, it is.
Lincoln, no good. McVeigh the other way to Kern. Nice dish over to Evans, no good. We approach the 1 minute mark, and I think we're just going to have a running substitution.
Yeah,
as Hannah Williams checks
timeout.
out. Checking in for HEA is Haley Sasusi.
I thought they were just going to substitute with a live ball. Just keep it going.
Yeah, let's get a hockey sub in here.
Yeah.
Just running substitutes.
That would be situational reffing, right?
Right. And as you can see, the stands across from us are starting to fill up with black, as Aggieland's theme for the day, I believe, is all black, as they filled the stands this morning with their 16U boys were playing in the championship game, or 14U boys rather, I believe.
That basket no good from Sisui, I should say.
Emma Lincoln with the foul there. That's her first foul of the whole game, Emma Lincoln. That's pretty good when your point guard can go a whole game and not get a foul until the last 45 seconds.
She's played great.
Meanwhile, Chloe Kern puts another one in. She's now in double figures with 10.
She's a strong player. Shoots it, passes, handles the ball.
Valentine in the corner, three-pointer, no good. Rebound controlled by Evans. Waning seconds of this game, back to McVeigh. She puts it in, no good. Offensive rebound, no good, and that one for Evans is finally good. So your final score and your 7A gold ball champions in girls 18 and under is the HEA Firebirds. They win 54-36 over the Aggieland Panthers. I want to remind you, coming up next, boys 18 and under action. And we want to thank you for joining us on this broadcast, and we will see you on the next one.